Hulk almost came out, but you would have killed him. He was smaller than me. Little Michael Jackson, little man, he looked like, if you want to know what, this guy was famous, believe me, millions of people listen to him. You want to know what the guy looked like? You can go to, pretend there's no Google. I'll tell you what, you don't need Google. Don't do it. It's such a silent, vacant experience to find out who Michael Jackson is. Okay, the radio one that I'm talking about, not the crazy thing the pop said. No, a real guy. Say, no, I'll just Google. Don't Google it. Let me tell you, if you saw the movie The Godfather, did you see the movie The Godfather? Chances are you saw The Godfather. Chances are if you saw The Godfather, you heard about The Godfather, there's one thing you always hear about The Godfather movie, Marlon Brando movie. You hear about the horse's head. Think about the guy in the bed who crossed The Godfather, and The Godfather got even by putting the horse's head in his bed. The guy goes, oh! That guy is who Michael Jackson looked like, that actor. I forget the actor's name. He's a great actor. He's in a million movies. He's a little short guy with a big, poofy, gray hair swooperino, like people are thinking I should be. Some guy said the other day, why don't you just swoop it up? I said, you looking for a problem with me or what? I said, I'm going to get a haircut. I'm not going to get a swoop. Well, you just should, I said, I don't. That's what this actor did. That's what all those actors did. Every actor did the swoop, the side, winding, back, flip, over the bald crown. I don't. I don't swoop. But he was a swooper. And he was Michael Jackson. Come on, he had like $50,000 watch. He smelled like some Beverly Hills Macy's fragrance department hybrid. It was the polo sweater. Oh, it was horrible. I felt so good. I walked away having a whole different feeling. I was like, I walked away and I was like, oh boy, did you just have let yourself down? And I went, no. You know what? You're punk. You are a punk. He's a square, man. I don't care. I don't care who he has on. Oh, Meryl Streep is up next. Oh, Bill Clinton's up next. Oh, who else? Pick your favorite billionaire. Steve Jobs is up next. And then Bill Gates. And he's Mr. Everybody because he was a schmoozing, little condescending. He should have appreciated me. I appreciated him. I did something way different than he did. Yeah, whatever. Michael Jackson. So that felt really, I was going home, and you go home on the 5. And on Saturday, you can go home at the right time. If it's before noon in L.A., the roads are empty. Nobody gets in a car in L.A. before noon, except if they get in a car at 5:30, they got to do something at 6 to shoot a movie. That's once and then 2 weeks to recover. If you're in L.A. and you're in the movie business and you have a 5 a.m. anything, you're the makeup person, you're the lighting person, you're the car parker. If you have to work at 5 in L.A., they always make sure that they balance. Yeah, Friday you don't have to come in until because nobody in L.A. ever that I saw, I lived there for a while. No one ever came out in the morning. So if you are on the road, like I was, leaving Michael Jackson face off, punk rock, Ed Tyll, all of a sudden I'm Iggy Pop over here. It was very, but you got to assume the mantle. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Like, I didn't think they would be offended. Well, they're offended. So, what did all your heroes say? Your heroes never cared. So you can't care. I don't really care, but I am a little, miffed. I thought he could get into. I like the words. I'm pretty good with the interviews, but no, he didn't. He didn't give me time. He just dismissed me. I think that's what the thing about punk is. You become a little punk when you get dismissed. Heavy metal was dismissed, so you're up in people's face. I'm on the road on the 5. It's empty. And, I'm feeling my oats now, right? I'm like, all right, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You and me and Michael Jackson are a little different. Feeling that, and speeding on the 5. And the 5 goes into the Hollywood Freeway, and the Hollywood Freeway is nicer than the 5. It's the same old parkway. A parkway is nicer than an interstate, right? Interstate might be faster, but parkways. So I am trying to not drift, but it's a big lane change. 2, 3-laners, 6-laners come together, and I need the right most lane out of 6, and I'm in lane 5. So I got to make a 4-lane switcheroony, and I got the blinker on. You know, I'm ready for this. This is going to be challenging because there's going to be a lot of crazy people in these spots that want to make these moves at the very last second. I want to make it like, margin of error built in. So I got the blinker. I'm starting to make my move, and I see a yellow something behind me. And it is moving. It's getting bigger and bigger, faster. I said, all right, son of God, how fast is he going? Because I'm doing like 80 to pace with everybody, and this clown is pounding it. And, now it's almost like a little life and deathy because at these speeds, you don't want to get in front of this guy. You don't want to, you got to watch out for him at this moment. He's a maniacal missile coming down in the rear view. Yellow that's the thing. The yellow is so bright, a beautiful, bright day in L.A., morning, sun, the bright yellow car. Okay. So I finally say, all right, I come off my gas altogether, and I'm now simply going to agree to let this guy go through in a way that I'm going to stay out of his way. All right. So he does the zigzag, and he's got the top down on this Porsche, whatever the hell it is. I think it was like one of those old, what they call whale tail, big fat back end on a low Porsche top down. As he zooms past, it's Kelsey Grammer. And I don't even like Frasier. I didn't like the other one in the bar. I'm like, this fat ass, this worthless piece of... And I go, oh, my God, this is, that's it. You're branded now because this is what Michael Jackson, it would have been the opposite. He would have been, hello, Kelsey. Hello, Kelsey. I'll see you on the show next week. Hello, Kelsey. And I was like, this freaking creep, because he's a millionaire star. He's a big Hollywood star. He drive like this, getting people. So there you go. There it is. Michael Jackson, who I heard the guy show 100 times, a no-go, doesn't like my band, doesn't like what we play, doesn't like my topics, pardon me, he likes my topics, hates when I put my Ed Tyll stamp on them. You get what Michael Jackson did not like about me, and what Kelsey Grammer brought out in me on the same day. I'm sorry. Jack Kerouac and my dad, I'm staying with them. I understand their lives are not idyllic. Oh, yes. We're not Carl Betts being married to Donna Reed, My dad was lucky. My dad was the last generation where you get to be my dad and you get a Donna Reed. They haven't made anything. My mom was born in 1921. Forget it. My cute little godmother, who I love and I'm going to see her soon, love her. But she always felt like, my God, your mother is from another era. Because I believe they were 15 years apart. So, yeah, Mom, 1921, and Florence, 1936. Yeah, oh, please. They're, having a much better time. Very, very fascinating that you could want to. You're like, oh. And, so then I go to the Christmas party. The Christmas party, even worse. The Christmas party, anybody who's listened to talk radio over the course of the years, I don't have to tell you how annoying Gloria Allred is. Do I? If I say Gloria Allred, you already get a stomachache. You're already aggravated. You already get agita if you're eating. Why'd you bring that up at the dinner table? Come on. You mention that woman, I get, I'm at the KABC Christmas party, and Michael Jackson is holding court, of course, with all the upper class on one side, and Gloria Allred is, meandering on a power search. Who's in the room that I could, buddy up to, get some legal business, get on a TV show. She's a predator swimming around in a beautiful Christmas party at a home. I believe it's a general manager's home, at KABC, Mr. Big Shot. And you don't even see him. He's hanging with the senators and the governors in the backyard. I'm with the ordinary people. I was with a guy that used to be in Fame. Me and the guy that was in Fame. He was the hip, light-skinned black kid I think he had cornrows. I think if you go back to Fame, I'm going to live for it. All right, that TV show, he was the cornrow guy. So we're at the food thing, and he says to me, hey, how you doing? And I go, hey, what's up? I said, oh, man, I love that show. It was just off the air shortly. I said, guys are fantastic. I said, that must feel like something, man. I said, you got your whole career ahead of you. You've already been on like a hit show. He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, but come on. He says, we got to talk. He goes, I was listening to your show and da-da-da. He goes, I come into KBC all the time. I heard you in the hallway the other day. And then we shut the door and everybody was talking about, I got to talk to you. He says, you need a friend from New York City. I said, I do. I said, thanks. He said, oh, no. He said, you got it. It's all over you. Everybody in the building who noticed, he says, I don't want to fill your head. He goes, not a lot of people pay attention to your show, but the people that work on your show, the people in the building at 6 o'clock in the evening, let me tell you, you got that New York thing, and I had it when I got here. He goes, I had a terrible year. First year on Fame. He goes, I didn't know it. I was offending everybody. He goes, just the way you speak. He goes, yeah. He says, we know what we mean. He goes, when I'm talking to you, he goes, we're from where people just talk. He goes, we don't think about how we talk. I go, I don't. He goes, that's what I do on the air. I said, my thing on the air is I don't think ahead of time what words I'm going to say. I have the experience with the listener. He goes, nice. He goes, and how many times I said, all the time. They're always hitting me. He goes, that's what they do out here. You're from New York. It's your first year in L.A., so you're on this probation. Everybody expects you to sound wrong, act wrong. People, like the minute you walk out of a room, somebody's going to go, oh, I couldn't take it any longer. He goes, and you're going to think nothing happened. I go, what do you take? This is what they do right now. He goes, when you leave one of these little meetings for your show, they're worn out from you. I said, they're worn out? He goes, not in a bad way. They don't hate you. But it's the New York thing. You're very intense. Everything with you is a big deal. They would like one big deal a year and to talk about it for the rest of the year. The big deal is coming up. The big deal is almost here. Did I tell you enough about the pre-party for the big deal? Here's the next day of the pre-party when next week it is the big deal. Say, wow, that took 3 months. Exactly. Then we have the big deal. That goes on for 3 months. Say, wow, we're 6 months in. Exactly. Then when the big deal is over, we describe to everybody what actually happened about the big deal, and the big deal is always better when we write it up after we've done the big deal and talked about the big deal before it happened. We write it up, and then it's an even better deal. Then we publish the story of the big deal and talk about that for 3 months. That's how you do a year in L.A. One big deal, the lead up, the last minute lead up, the doing of it. It just happened, and boy, here's the big real stuff. I said, I'm going to go crazy. He goes, you will, because we all do. He goes, everybody here has come from the East Coast, everybody swears they're not going to let that happen. He goes, so, clock is running. He goes, if you're still here in 25 years and you're at these parties and you're like Michael Jackson over there, he says, then you became one of them. He goes, I'm right now trying not to become one of them because they made me into that for that show. But like you said, he goes, young. I do what I want now. I said, wow. He's like, yeah, man. He goes, anytime you want to talk, give me a call. He goes, I'm in your building all the time. Wow. So one day they come in and they go, show has been canceled. I said, I'm sorry. I thought we were doing great just the other day. Not us. On top. Canceled it. I said, how? Check the contract. It's in there. Of course they can do it. I said, so what happens? He goes, we're out too. I said, what? Yeah, we thought it was a great idea to bring you here. We thought it was a great idea. We're doing a lot of great ideas. You're not the only great idea we had. He goes, you're a great idea. He goes, we had another great idea. How about an all-female talk station in 1997 with a name, an identity, and all day they bash the husbands, beat up the boyfriends, complain about their period, food, what they want. Nobody pays them right. All day. They are not just griping. They'll become revolutionaries, every one of them. They start marches. We think it's a brilliant idea. I said, my God, it's going to go over well out here, right? And of course, come on, we're in La La Land. And they didn't like that. They canceled that. I said, they canceled it? They canceled it. In one day, they fired all the women, changed the name. I said, but we're in L.A. He goes, exactly. We're in L.A. So this is the other part of being in L.A. He goes, you don't have to do it. You're off today. He goes, you'll be getting paid for the next 2.5 years. Congratulations. You won't be seeing us anymore because we're packing our ditty bag. Unbelievable. So called up my friend across the street at another station. And I never told this story before. It's the first time I'm telling it now because it's in context. This guy was the program director in Orlando where we did everything you could do with a radio station. Ratings through the roof, beat Rush Limbaugh, made big advertising dollars, local radio. Nobody but us on the air did it. You didn't need anybody from out of town. We put that station on the map, and profitably, and in a fun way without corporate people telling us what not to do. Oh, I hate this story. But it's true, so I'll tell it. Okay. So the program director of that station was a genius. So what do you think happened to his genius? Somebody in L.A. called him and brought him out there long before I got my call. And everybody was happy for him. I don't know how that was, but, he was good luck. And he did great out there. He's a master of personalities and people to this moment right now. Love him to death. His name is Jay Clark. And he's been an executive at every big broadcast operation, every one of them. We have one thing in common, Jay and I. If you bring us in, ratings go up. Jay knows how to pick people that raise the ratings. And whether you like how he does it, whether you like how I do it, one thing we always do is that numbers will go up. He is at this other station and hears that I'm going to KABC. There's rumblings in the hey, I heard this guy Ed Tyll. He goes, Ed Tyll, that's my Ed Tyll. I work with Ed Tyll. Blah, blah, blah. So Jay says to me, is this true? Are you going to L.A.? I said, Jay, are you ready? I'll be in L.A. tomorrow night. He goes, oh, my God. He goes, I have to call Mel Karmazin right now. He goes, I'm stealing you. I am not letting KABC get you. You need to be with us at KLSX, and that's the end of it. I got Rich Berner down the hallway. You are, Eddie, I don't know if I can do it. I got a fax machine. I'm going to stay where, he goes, stay where you are. Do you have a fax machine? I go, yes, Jay. He goes, stay where you are. I said, I'm sitting on the edge of a thing. He goes, don't move for 2 hours. He goes, if I can get a signature. I said, all right. He says, you haven't. I said, I haven't signed. I'm here to finish negotiations and get to know them. And no, we haven't signed. Then you need to, and I got all excited. I'm jumping off the wall. This is like the Beatles getting a second movie. Really? You were doing this again? Okay. So I go down to the desk. Excuse me. Get my low voice going. Excuse me. My name is Ed Tyll, and I'm in room 666 for the devil. And may I use your fax machine this evening up until 11 p.m.? Yes, sir, of course, anytime, 24, so you come down here. Okay, and I said, do you have toner in there? Until question, because I'm only getting one damn fax, baby. I am pulling off a bank heist here. I am stealing the crown jewels, and you are not going to screw me up with, we don't have enough toner. Asked about the toner, got a test sheet. We are good to go. Back into that room. Now I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting. I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. And 9:30 becomes 9:45. 10:20 becomes 10:50. And I'm like, oh, my God, he did say 11 o'clock. 11:01. Love Jay Clark. He's got a great beard. He's a great captain of a boat. He knows how to sail around the world. If you tell Jay Clark, you have to leave the United States for a couple of years while it straightens itself out. He would jump on a boat, go beautiful places. He would come back. Everything would be all set up. He's a self-sufficient guy, like all my heroes. No way you could stop this guy. So, 11:01. Phone rings. This is it. I'm going to use that. Wasn't able to reach the big man. Karmazin was in some place. Even in those days, there were pockets of you can't reach. You're out of range. He said, Eddie, it's killing me. Blah blah blah. You're gonna have to go to work. I said, well, it's not the worst thing ever. I said, that's okay. Blah blah. So, when KABC got cleaned out, oh man, I loved their idea about the station I wasn't even on. The idea of all these women beating up on all these dudes all day. You're going to get monster ratings with that. Girls are going to love that station. Canceled. So Jay instantly reconnected me to him and his station and the general manager that Jay worked for out there was one who was known as a talent GM. He loved the hosts. He loved the shows. He wasn't a budget man. He wasn't projections man. He wasn't corporate anything. He loved radio. That's why he was a general manager. The speakers. What is coming out of the speakers right now? What are my listeners doing? Are they laughing? Are they oohing and eyeing? It's all he cared about. Now, that's a lie. I mean, obviously he cared about the money. He's general manager. But that's how he prospered. There's a good word. He prospered by always believing. It's like if you own the Yankees, you better love the way they play in the field. And every day is going to be the logos, the websites, the crap, T-shirts. It's not crap, T-shirts. John Hart's listening. He's a master of the T-shirt. He's got John and I have a great T-shirt idea. I'll tell you about in a couple of days. But Bob Moore at KLSX was a fan. So when he put me on the air, he didn't put me on the air for something on a balance sheet. He put me on the air because he enjoyed the show. And from the minute he put me on, he's enjoying the show. Calling me up. First couple of shows, he's a real general manager, a real mensch of a guy. Every day for the first couple, 3 days, calls the show after the show. Oh, my God, that was great. I just got home. I couldn't go in the house. I sat in the garage listening to you. Great show. Boom. Next day. Oh, man, 2 in a row. So, look, he's on your team. You're scoring touchdowns for him. What else should it be? What is with the other fake disciplinarian? I know what you don't know. You're just on the air. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I never had to go into tough negotiations with Bob. So if we had ever, maybe things would be different at the money table. We didn't go. I was an inherited salary. I was a bought out contract. He just took it as it was, and he said to me, he goes, come on. He goes, what happened over to you, happened to you over there? He goes, that's pathetic. He goes, they had you on fire. That you were on fire over there. I said, I was happy as a clam. So the people who really benefit from the show, the other day, I always think about Kelly and Mike. As a matter of fact, Mike, like I said, he was going to be on at 12:15. We had a note, and somebody blew the whole thing off. But they're like my contemporaries, right? They're like my real friends, not just Facebook friends, but real people. Now, I think it's terrific when you could be friends with somebody, but you could also use their profession. You know, your best friend is a realtor. Comes time to buy a house. You're going to get the best deal. It's your best friend. So with this whole thing, I know they're there every day. She writes a beautiful little one line about the show. And it was like the same reason I got in 45 years ago. And I'm like, my God, it still works. They could change everything. I mean, I'm in a studio with 9 wireless massive monitors. It's insane. They're all Wi-Fi, not even a wire. There's not even a wire. The microphone I'm speaking to you on is the same microphone I've used since 1975. Not the actual one, the model and make. It's still the mic. This was the mic when I started. It's still. So that's amazing. To me, you can't top that. When I saw her comment, it was something like, we listen and it's different. It's fresh every day. It was just a nice, beautiful, spontaneous utterance. That's what they call it in a courtroom. Spontaneous utterance is always admissible in court under evidence rules, certain circumstances. I shouldn't say always. And that's all we do. So there it is. I wouldn't have this zero other way, and it's horribly cumbersome. Are you kidding? This is a big pain in the neck to build this thing, but nothing compares to when you're on and you're doing this. So I know we have young broadcasters. I remember when I was a young guy and I would listen to an old guy like me talk about the old days. I would love it because it's a absolute surety bond. You know what a surety bond is? I'm putting this bond set aside to make sure everything goes well. If things don't go well, I will collect on the surety bond. So here's a surety bond. It's 2:56 in the afternoon. Ed Tyll Show, edtyll.com. And you could honestly say, I was listening to this guy 45 years ago. It's the same show. I'm listening to this guy 25 years ago. It's the same thing with him. This is what he does. This is, wow, he's still doing that? Wow. Yeah. I don't know either. Who knew it could, the show on Friday was off the hook. I'm 17 years old. I go to see Alice Cooper, and they're throwing $1 billion babies off the stage. And I'm there with my friend from school, and we're going nuts. We're just screaming and going crazy. I am, at that moment, in Nassau Coliseum, I still have the ticket stub. I am going crazy as a kid, loving it, singing it, flipping out, dancing peripatetically, crazy. Like the guy said the other day, don't sing. It's the same thing. Don't dance near anyone. You'll hurt them. And I'm going to tell you, I'm having the same experience on Friday that I had when I was 17. And he's right. He says, dude, when people talk about those concerts, after the band starts, they don't remember much. That's how my impression of Dennis caricature. And he was right. I knew everything that happened until that baby doll hit the audience. It's hard. And I remember driving home. I remember us being in the car, go, wow. We were just wowing for days. But he knew what we were going through watching him up there. He's playing it. The way you play Alice Cooper, he's the archetype of the rock star. And there it is happening on this show. And I shared it with somebody from Stone Cold Band. They're a Stevie Ray group. I shared with them. I was the last one to see Stevie Ray Vaughan alive, which flips me out. And I lost a personal college friend sitting next to Stevie Ray Vaughan on that helicopter. There was only the visit with my friend that put me in the proximity. That was the night that I met Eric Clapton and began that kind of, I'm not going to say I'm friends with the guy, but when we see each other, he, gives me a hello with his eyes, like he recognizes me from that night. And I ran into him like 5 different times. And hey, these people mean everything to me. They meant everything. So that is why we're here. This makes perfect sense. And I, on Friday, had the same level of enjoyment ever. And it can only be from that one thing. It's what Kelly wrote. This is a show where we love to do everything. Want to do everything, want to talk about everything. Everything's open. We like to think outside the box. The compliment a guy paid the other day, I said, wow, that's a good compliment. The producer of Rocky, of Goodfellas, all these legendary films, complimented Martin Scorsese. He said, Marty is different than all the other directors because he's not afraid at all to be totally different. If his movie is not going to be like any other movie, he's fine with that. All the other guys, when you have to take them off, well, this is the way Citizen Kane was made. This is the way The Godfather. Those guys, they're in reverent stupor of the past. They're so stuck in the past, what somebody else did. They're still doing what nobody's done because you believe in it, and just adding that to the myriad of choices that people get. There you go. So I was like, that's it. I think that's, I believe in that. But every time they say, well, this is what talk radio is, I say, no, it's not. It's more than that. And, they taught me that in Chicago. I did learn that many years ago. Fantastic. Now, Rob wanted to call in at 2:30. Santa Claus was calling in at 12:15. It's 3:01. Now, I have a couple of things I got to say here. Then we will decide what we're going to do. Item number one. Tomorrow, I will have surgery. It is so minor that I have been told I can do the show because the surgery is at 8 a.m. If that turns out to be the case, perfect, and we will have a show about oral surgery and, cute nurses or whatever the story is. I've never been to this office before, so we'll talk about whatever. However, if anything unpredictable might happen, it will be some pre-recorded you haven't heard before. I don't want to explain the whole thing. It takes too long. I'll tell you that. We're going to have some programming coming up that you haven't heard before, and you won't hear it live when it happens, but when you hear it, it's going to be amazing. All right, so there's that. Thursday should be a normal day. If Thursday is not normal, you will be apprised of this on the Facebook. How am I doing on Instagram? I'm trying to use Instagram. Nobody argues with you on Instagram. How do you not like Instagram? Nobody argues. You look at the dog, you look at the cats, you look at the fish, the beautiful lake, you find out what's on the Ed Tyll Show, and goodbye. Nobody has a problem. Okay. Speaking of today, it was Rich Garboski. What happened to that? That was 2 o'clock. You guys are all in trouble. You're going to have to fix all of this today. All of this is going to have to be fixed by you. I'm over here trying to entertain these people, and you jerking me around with all of this. The Santa Claus thing was the first one. How easy is that? That was too hard for you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a bicycle guy's killing himself to get you connected. He's got a big television thing. Okay. I know. E-Tech TV. Right. Rich Garboski, a bicycle rider extraordinaire. Yeah, where was that? Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Anyway, it's a great show, and we're thrilled. Here's the other thing I wanted to say. Again, credit to Kelly on this. The only person that even asked. I have to say. The only person I would have told anybody. It was not a trade secret. We're thrilled. We had our highest number of listeners on Friday, and I was trying to celebrate that all weekend, even though I was tied to the website. Slave to that website. But, yeah, so that needs to be highlighted, said, whatever. So Wednesday and Thursday, we don't know what's going to happen. If things are normal, that's great. It'll be normal. You won't notice it. But if it's I'm not here, or I'm here and I'm all loopy, or I'm here and I can only do an hour, or I'm here and I'm, I don't know that I'm here and I don't know that I'm on and you're hearing me, don't panic. Just click on the website, put down Ed. You're incoherent. You're more incoherent than usual. Could it be the Lonocaine or the Novocaine? Yep. Okay, we got that. So, and does Cokie Roberts qualify as the third? Is that the third that we're doing? Are we doing She's the Third? Eddie Money, Heartbreak. Rick Ocasek, Heartbreak. Cokie Roberts, for me, big heartbreak. Big. But I don't think that's going to, I don't know. We'll see. It did make the top Google search result in news. So I'm trying to figure that one out. Do you guys know how to do that? How to do Google search rank? How to come out? Do you know what SEO is? Search engine optimization. Does it make you nauseous to say it? It does. Pandering to the machine. Slave to the machine. That was a big theme back in the 1950s. People did not want to be automated. They did not want to be mechanized. All right, I think we're good. I think we're caught up. So we got a couple of interviews to catch up. Oh, whoa, is today the 17th? Gary Rowan. What happened to Gary? So you're in big trouble. Gary Rowan, Santa Claus, who else? Come on. Conversations with Rob is a given, but I'll bet you, Conversations with Rob has been getting us great people. Was his Boston dad today at 2:30? Could have been. Could have been. So, big train wreck on your side. Yeah. I wasn't the one that said it was all good. Not me. You know, if it was me, it would be done the opposite. It would all be about specifics. It would all be about nouns and verbs. It would not be reassuring adverbs. If there's anything in this world that has less value than the Chinese yuan, they are crazy with that money. It's always been like that, though. They have a bazillion pennies to their dollar. Cokie Roberts and me. Sitting there, catfish on the Mississippi. I'm one of those old, what do they call them, showboats. Remember that showboat and paddle boat, ferry boat, whatever they are, those big wheels keep on turning. Proud Mary keeps on burning. Yeah, but that was like the real way to go to work. You had to take the Proud Mary to get to work. Yeah. Well, so wrap up all the housekeeping, I think we are pretty much caught up there. October 1st is our big launch, our merchandise to everybody who has already won merchandise, and I have a ton of winners all over the place. Be patient with us. We are learning how to be a retail operation and do shipping and packaging and all that correctly. We did a couple right out of the box, and we got everything wrong. So, yeah. Exactly. We got a list. Got to do our list and check it twice. Yup. All right. So that was that. We got the shirts covered. I still think there's something else big. I think there's one more thing. You think that's everything? I don't think that's everything. I think there's one more big thing. Oh, of course there is. See? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just not so loud. Okay, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I am honored. I want to say thank you very, very much. The people who have put together the Fore and After Reunion music festival at Ivy, the beautiful amphitheater in Danbury, they've invited me to be the MC at that event. I am humbled. You don't know what it would mean to me to bring out Dennis Dunaway and the Alice Cooper guys. I have brought out some famous people, and I love every time I do it. There's no feeling in the world when you say the name of a famous band to an audience, and the audience goes insane because you're doing the handoff. It's pretty incredible. So anyway, that was the invite, and tragically, I am unable to do that gig. Timing, travel, etc., logistics. Again, people who are in the business and I were chatting, and they're like, you got the flights, maybe you do the train, maybe you do because I have many things happening before October 1st. We have a lot to do once it's October 1st, none of this other stuff will be tolerated anymore. We've been in building mode here for about 100 days, and the first 100 days of the presidential administration kind of thing. So October 1st, we won't come up for air until January. It'll be 90 days of straight programming. Remember, We're on the air live Thanksgiving. We're on the air live Christmas. We are on the air live when you need us, and we're going on more and more weekends live. So that's what October and November and December are going to be like. So we have to marshal all of our resources. We have to be prepared. We have to have everything in place so we can go out there and give you guys, what we love to give you. And we do have there is some really cool stuff. I don't want to get ahead of us, but I know some things about what's going to happen in October to make the show jump out, and we're going to have fun. That's all I can say. Some household names, people in American culture that love us, and they're going to come around one more time for the Ed Tyll launch. So, going to be great. All right, so, yeah. I don't know. You want to? All right, I will. Because you never know with him. Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes he'll, and other times, not. So, okay. All right, you know what? Give me a second, though. Just give me 1 second, would you? Can I have a second?
Working class in a place they call the Bronx. Learned on the corner about the school of hard knocks. Found out his rap could be his salvation. Well, now he's talking all across the nation. It's the Ed Tyll Show. It's the Ed Tyll Show. Come on, everybody. It's Ed Tyll. Now that you tuned him in, you know what I mean. People call him up, discussing every scene.
Oh yeah. No, we had a big texts are coming in now. Yeah. You can answer all those. Yeah. Yep.
Each and every day, it's the Ed Tyll Show.
Yeah, we had, I don't know how many, good thing Richard Hoke was on patrol and caught that dead air before. Wow. All right, so let me say for everybody who was scheduled today, our distinct apologies. We had a technical outage. We were off the air. We had chaos here at the complex, and had nothing to do with us. It was not broadcast related. It was the old days. They call that plant maintenance or whatever. So that's done. They blew up our schedule totally. We weren't able to take phone calls for the first 2 hours, even if we wanted to. It looks like that's fixed, but I don't know. Honest to God, we still haven't seen if that's working, but they told us it should be no problem. Okay? Yeah, I don't even know what you're saying now. No, I can't. I'm talking to them. How am I going to listen to you and talk to them? Thank you. So... Is anybody thinking that we might go to war with Iran? Do I have something to get excited about? Don't tell me there's going to be a big football game and then there's going to be no game. Don't tease me. Are we really thinking because over the weekend, when they took out this tanker, I didn't feel, refinery. The tanker was the first problem. I didn't feel it. Now, this morning, I guess the media wants people to... They want people to feel it. All right, let's see who we got here on the Ed Tyll Show.
Edward, it is Santa.
Santa will never let you down. Santa was put on hold about 3 hours ago, and this is why I guess you are Santa Claus. Yeah, you must really love the human race to put up with the kind of crap that we give Santa, and yet Santa is always there when we need him. So how are things with Santa? This time of the year, you must be what? Working on zip codes? What does Santa work on in this season that we're in?
Well, the elves are busy in the shop making all the stuff for the season. As they say, we're checking our list twice. I heard you say that today, but that's exactly what we do. We check our list twice to make sure you're naughty and nice.
Well, I was going to say I've been banned from your list for so many years. How does one become Santa worthy again? I've gotten restraining orders and all kinds of legal documents from your organization. The L's stop bothering him, stop asking. You're not getting anything. How do I get into it? Yeah,
they're very overprotective.
They are.
They're very overprotective. Don't worry about it. I'm going to clear it right up.
Is that right? Can you override all that? Can you just
I
walk
can take care of that. You should have sent out an email.
I should have. Yeah, I should have emailed you, right? Because I would hope that you could just walk it through the igloo or wherever you are up in. What do you? That's interesting. On the North Pole, is it only igloos, or do you have like a tiny house, or what do you have up there? Because ice. That's nice. That's it. Very good. Ice is good. It's very, it's easy to decorate. Ice is very easy to decorate. Yeah, it's.
We have our own little complex. We have our own little village. We have a beautiful river here.
Nice. How are the taxes in Santa's land? Do you have a city commission that's always trying to put in a bus route or something? Who runs the show up at the North Pole? Are you an outspoken civic activist, or are you too busy serving the world?
Well, we're too busy taking care of the world. We're off the grid.
That's it. Yeah,
we're off the grid. We have solar. We have communications.
I stopped eating grid a long time ago. I said, I'm not eating. I'm off the grid all the way. My wife is like, but grid is good for you. I go, you and that movie, Grid is good. You mean greed is good? Yes, the same thing. So.
Let's just say close enough.
Close enough, as they say. So, how's your weight and all? Do they get on you that you have to be a bit rotund for the job, or how's that going? Do they tell you to get padding? What are they?
So many more people in the world. I had to slim down 100 pounds so that we could get more stuff in the sleigh.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking even the sleigh now. I'm sure with the road taxes, with the way station, and you delivering all that stuff, they're probably hitting you left and right. I bet Santa loses a ton of money on this operation if you really did the books. No one's going to come and audit you. But the truth is, I'm sure Mrs. Claus is like, do you ever look at our bank balance? Do you ever pay a bill?
Mrs. Claus always worries about that kind of thing. I don't.
That's it. What do you care? As long as if you have a white beard, your job is done, my friend. You got the beard. You love the kids. Now, what about like shoulder injuries on that bag? Is it still a cloth bag? Do you have any high-tech devices that can help you, or is it just a slinging a bag over your shoulder is still what you do?
Well, we still sling the bag over the shoulder, but we wear a very slimline shoulder pad like a running back in the NFL, so it keeps.
Oh, wow. I didn't think Santa was into sexual assault. Are you really? Wow. Holy cow. Santa the running back. We're posing for your mugshot, Santa. Take the hat off. That's funny. That is hilarious.
That's not a pleasant sight.
No, let's forget that. Let's unsay that right now. I'm just going to unsay that. Hit the unsay button.
Remember what you said about that naughty nice list. That's not a good way.
Exactly. That's how I keep screwing myself. There you go. You set myself back again. Your schedule is what? Christmas, they have a longer lead up. Do you start getting letters like in February, 10 months in advance? When do they start coming at you with next year?
They come all year round. They come all year round. As children start to learn to write, they sometimes write me their first letter.
Oh, wow. So you got that going for you. You must have a hell of a time with the handwriting.
We get lots of those. We get very first letters.
Get a lot of backwards E's. You get the backwards E, the upside down, L's. Do you get that kind of stuff first time they're writing it?
I had to learn to read from left to right, top to bottom, and bottom to top.
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
Also, writing comes in from all over the world.
Right. I used to put M&Ms in the envelope for Santa. You know, the way you put out cookies for him in the house? I used to add 2 or 3 M&Ms to my letter, and I always wondered if they melted on the way, and I used to write that in the letter, Santa, I'm sorry if these melt, but I'm sending you my 2 favorite color M&Ms.
Well, I appreciate the red and the green M&M. Sometimes you look at them, they look like W's if you look at them from the wrong angle.
That's it. See, that's the thing. Santa's like, you must be like an interpreter, right? You speak kid, don't you? Isn't that the language they write to you? They write you in the language of child, right?
Yes. And in that language, there are lots of the word the, lots of the use of the word like and I would like this and then and that
hey,
and this.
Do
this
they
and
kiss?
That.
Do they kiss up to you on the salutation? My friend used to write, "Dearest, dearest, best Santa." Like you get a compliment Santa into like an extra present. Dearest of dearest, dearest